I'm making a ColecoVision compatible computer, and the ColecoVision had two controllers, so I've got two controller ports on my computer back there. And I've made a ColecoVision compatible controller here, because you get 5 PCBs from the PCB manufacturer. Put together 5 of them, and I've made it so there's a D-type connector on there, and so I can make up a cable so that on one end I've got pins, and one end I've got female, and so that the cable plugs between the actual console itself and the controller. And I've made up a test board here as well. So on the actual computer I've got interface chips here, but I've made up a test board with the same interface chips so I can test it out independent of the computer and make sure the controller's working. So when I come to use it on the actual computer itself, I can be reasonably sure that the actual controller is going to be working properly. So previously I've made an emulator for the ColecoVision on Linux, and I've printed out the truth table for the controller from my source code. I've got 5-volt supply for my test board. On my test board I made it so that I could do the chip select and read pins of the interface chip, so that I could actually do testing to make sure that they would work properly as well. And so I need to hold those down when I'm actually doing the testing, and it shows me which part of the controller is selected. So on the controller, because there's a joystick and a keyboard, and it's only a 9-pin connector, yet the keyboard has 10 numeric buttons plus a couple of other buttons. So it has to encode the keyboard to send it over the 9-pin connector. I'll go through the circuit diagram later, but it actually has a flip-flop on the actual computer, which you change between reading a keyboard or reading the joystick. So it's currently selected to read the keyboard. So if I switch it to read the joystick first, so that's the green selector, and the actual joystick truth table is at the bottom of this page. So it outputs on the LEDs down here what the actual selection is. So if I press up on the joystick, the first LED lights up, and if you look at up, it's the first LED for up, and then it'll be the right. So I did in the order of the LEDs: up, right, down, and left. And on the left-hand LEDs, or the LEDs at the top, it should be off, off, on, which it is. So off, off, on. So if I go up, it's first one, right, down, and left. So that they all work okay. And then the fire is in between those two, so it'll be off, on. So there's the fire button, and the fire 2 button doesn't come on because the fire 2 button is red when you read the actual keypad. So if I move to where the keypad truth table is, which is at the top of the sheet, and I'll hold down these. Okay, so the keypad's selected, so I can go through them. So at the top, it's 1010, so it's 1010. So that's the top. So I only need to worry about the bottom ones as I go through the settings as to the bottom 4. So at the top I've got a star, so which is this key. So you see it's 0110. Yeah, so it's 0 down, right, 0. So that's, I've used letters where what ones should be, but that's the legends for down, right, and left and up. So the next one down is hash, and so it should be 1001. So 1001. 0 is 0101. Then 1 is 0010. Like that. I just go through all of them. 1000. And then 0011. And then 1101. 1100. 0001. What's this one? 7. That's 1010. 1110 and 0100, and then the fire button comes up as it would for the joystick on the same pin as the joystick, but because the keyboard's selected, it will do the fire 2 rather than the fire 1 button, and of course the joystick doesn't do anything when the keyboard's selected as well. So this is the circuit diagram of the controller, and on the right hand side there's the 9-pin connector, and there's two lines which are particularly of interest on here, and one is line 8, which is to select the joystick, and line 5 to select the keyboard. So only one of those goes high at any one time, which decides whether or not it's going to read from the key from the joystick up here or from the keypad down at the bottom here. And basically what happens, so if I take a look at the joystick select, no, actually the keyboard select, because it's got combinations on it. So keyboard select comes in here and goes down and is common to all of the buttons. And so if I look at key 3, which is that one there, and on the return of key 3 it goes through two diodes. So one of the diodes goes up here, one of the diodes goes here. So it outputs two of the lines there, which encodes the 3. So that's the way that the keypad works on the ColecoVision controller, and the joystick just basically returns down whichever line is supposed to be for the particular key which is being pressed.